Hello Nitro fans, Racing 393 here for part 2. This is part 2.5 of the main series, and this is part 2. So I did part 1 earlier on. Got this built back to where it's sort of reasonably good. I painted the cooling fins. I did them a slightly different colour just so I can distinguish the difference of what I'm doing. And we did pinch this. It does seem to have compression, which is good. Looks all right. The next stage, really, I think for now, I think it might be easy if we do like the carburetor. So the carb I haven't even touched, and it's probably one of the most important things to do. Now, this is the carb at the moment. They're only little carbs. You look down there, it's not very big at all. And it is a butterfly style Venturi. Now it twists. If I put it like that, you might be able to see it. Typical butterfly. So all good. Now, it clearly has just been, it's been on this motor like forever. As far as which way it goes, I'm just trying to establish where that was on my car. I think it's that way around. I've got a feeling that when that's in the car, it's like that. And the servo, I think, is like that. It doesn't really matter if it's wrong, but I'm going to assume that that is correct. So I think the first thing to do is to take this sucker apart. I'm not too concerned about the settings just yet, but it will need to be cleaned, wiped down, and checked. There is a lot of rubber seals, there's some rubber seals in here which are hopefully are not damaged. So I think the first thing for me to do, because it is a bit fiddly, is we're going to get that moved. And then I'm going to take this apart, and then I'll show you a little bit of it. I might move the camera, show you a little bit of a close-up of what I've got. I tend to put this down in an order of which that I took it all apart, so I don't forget where things go. So I'm going to put it there. Give me a second. So here's the carb, all taken apart from the, what's that called? The high-speed needle. That's still in one piece. But everything else I've taken out. It all looks to be in good condition. It'd just be a case of just making sure this is all cleared out. It has a pressed fit needle seat in there, which I can't get out. I suppose there is a way to do it, but I haven't got the tools or the know-how of how to do that. But that there, the carb body, will need cleaning up. Got the butterfly part of the carb that pivots, that's there. A couple of needles. One's like the low speed and one is the throttle stop. Yeah, and then once I've got that back together, cleaned, I'll then just sort of strip that down just to make sure there's no crap in there. So this is just a case of putting it all back together and reassembling and cleaning. So I will go through as I do the bits and pieces and just sort of show you me best I can put it back together. It's all minute, miniature nitro, so you need like little fingers to do this, hence why I've got all these little tools. But anyway, it's just a cleaning process at the moment. So yeah, let me just do what I can. Right, so I've cleaned the body. I did get this out, which is the needle seat. Upon taking it out, I can't remember which way it went. It's got a hole top and bottom. And obviously the main jet goes there, into there, which is a needle. It's got a hole there, isn't it? It can't go the other. The holes can't go sideways like that because it seals with that. It's my understanding is it's got to go like that. Is it? Has it not? So the top, the high end needle, which will go in there, that's got a hole in it, which all intents and purposes goes below where that goes in. So if you put the high end needle in there, that's where it draws the fuel from. If it goes in like that, the needle can only draw from in this little cavity here. It's so small you can hardly see it. So I think it did just pop out. It didn't even take any effort. It just pops back in like that. So it can draw air. Is it air? Must be air. And fuel. I think it goes like that. Well, I'll put it back in now, so it is like that. Would it come? I don't know. It's not going to be a massive issue if it's wrong. It just won't start. But if you're watching this part of the video, the reason I can't talk is I'm trying to think, which is dangerous, and talk. So my gut feeling is I put the hole, it goes to the top and the bottom. But the problem is, I've got a feeling that might not be right. Anyway, let me just figure that. I wish I never took it out now. Let me just figure that out a minute, and I'll come back when I've sort of had a bit of a think. So I put it all back together. I'm still undecided of where that end needle seat goes, which way round. I'm trying to think. I don't think it really matters because it draws from both sides. But I'll put it all back together. It feels fine. Nothing's set clearly. So it's a lot cleaner, as you can see. There's nothing broken or worn. So I think what I might do now is put that to one side, and we're going to have a quick look at this. So this is the high end needle. It does need a bit of a clean. I don't know if the high end needle, it looks like it's coming off, so we should be okay. So that there will be that'll need a bit of a wipe down. I don't know what's in there. I want to say there is something in there, but I don't know. So I'm going to take the end part off here. So we'll unscrew that. So that's just a nut actually. So I thought there was the other thing coming off. No, I think that there does look like a little washer. So I don't want to lose that. I can't see anything inside. I thought there must be there's a rubber, little small rubber O-ring on that. So I'll give that a wipe down. I think it's not much else I can do on the high-speed needle apart from give it a wipe down, which is what I'll do, because it always seems to get gunked in oil and debris. You should really take these apart and clean them periodically. I must say it does look okay though. The seals look okay. I'm going to put this back on as well, because that kind of helps when you want to do it by, you know, turn it by your hand rather than using a tuning screwdriver. I'm just going to check this. Yeah, that there's definitely a little rubber grommet, rubber spacer, no, a rubber seal. And I'm just trying to look, I can't see nothing in there. So there's nothing in there, so I will just quickly run it under the water. I'm not going to take that off. There's yeah, I can just feel there's a bit of resistance in, so I'm going to clean this out, put it back together and stick it back on the carb. And then I'll come back and show you once I've done that. It's going to be like a complete carb at that point, to be honest. And then we'll put it onto the motor. Okay, so I've put it all back together. Interesting. I thought I'd share something with you regarding the carburetor. So I've checked it all, and it all seems to work, you know, airflow wise. Now you've got like a throttle stop, which is here. You've got the butterfly carb, which is there. And the main high-speed needle here and the low-speed needle here. Now, under normal circumstances, if you've got the carb fully shut, which I've got there, and you blow through this where the fuel would come from, and you try and blow through it, I've got a very small amount of air going through that. Of course, if you do the throttle stop in, I've done that half a turn, the carb shut, you can do more. It's a lot freer. So that means that when you've got that screw, when it's in, it opens the throttle, and then so that means there is enough there going through. If I take that half a turn back out and another half from where I just had it, we'll shut the throttle up with the throttle butterfly. Well, I can't blow through that because it's shut completely. And if I open it very slightly, it closes itself up. So I think just setting that, maybe a half a turn or just over, I've got just enough, about half a mil, but it works out fine. So I think the throttle's set okay. The high-speed needle, again, you can screw it down to you can't blow through it, and turn it out. Now I've basically started at 4 turns. So 4 turns out with this. The throttle stop, just so that I got about half a mil of air to go through that when it's you can't see it, it's so small in there. And the low speed needle, again, because when that goes in, it goes forward, and when it goes in, it's shutting the carb, goes forward and then shuts the fuel off on the needle at the bottom. So I've just got that just about flush out by about a quarter of a turn. So what I mean by flush, I mean, if you look along that, you can, I don't know if you can see it on there, but you can just see the head of the screw. My eyes hurt, this is so small work. Right, so that's done now. That's lovely and clean compared to what it was like, and it all seems to be working. I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to install it onto the motor. That doesn't need to be filmed. And what else? Well, I suppose we've got to get onto the Roto start. maybe I'll take some of this exhaust apart. This is a standard exhaust, and I was actually going to drill. It's plastic. It's not my most favourite of exhaust, but I think it does come apart. If I can get it apart, that would be great. And I think I'm going to drill that out a little bit. So everything I've done, the basic tuning that I've done on this, very basic, is opened out and polished the exhaust port part of the header, and I'm going to just do the same with that as well. But I'll do that in a second. I want to get the carburetor back on first. So that's enough of my ugly mug. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've sort of gone ahead a little bit there. It was only a case of putting this back on. So we've got the Roto start on. I think the Roto start's got to come off again to get it to fit to the chassis. It's not, you know, and I think the exhaust head has got to come off to get to the bolts underneath. You can see what I mean by it's not really a particularly good engine to work on. But yeah, it's gone back together lovely. There's nothing broken. A few wires have got a few got flayed wires like this here has. The sort of the start which that goes onto the plug. It's got a few bare wires. I'll sort that out with some perhaps heat shrink or something if I can get some over there. For now, I'll put a bit of tape over this live wire here. But it's going to probably need a bit more than... I'll put a bit of a wider heat shrink over it, I guess, and heat that on. That's not a problem. I'll do that later on. The earth is just on the mount there, so there's not much I can do about that until it's mounted. So that's that. I haven't done the exhaust yet. I think what I'll do is, if I've got anything to show you, I'll come back with exhaust. Other than that, that's the motor, the TRX 0.15, taken apart, cleaned and rebuilt, with a little bit of tuning. But before I actually do a closing, let me just check the exhaust to see whether or not it needs, if it can come apart. But it looks all right, doesn't it? It pretty much stay like that if it runs. We'll never know yet. I say I never know. We will get it out. But anyway, let me let's just get the exhaust out and let's see what's what. So the exhaust is just a proprietary plastic exhaust. It's got like a, I don't know if I can come off there. So that just comes off. That's the exhaust there. I think that is just plastic. It definitely could do with a clean out. It's gooey as hell. And like I said, I want to open up the end. But I don't particularly want to do that unless I can get this off. It does come off. I don't know how I'm going to get it off though. I might have to leave it. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to give it a clean because it's absolutely filthy, and that. And I probably, it does go back on there. I might have to just keep that on there for now because I have got cable ties, yes. I'll probably take that off. Cut that off, clean this up, and drill that out. Just so it's a bit bigger. Let's see if we can get it. Just those little details that make a big difference. The GoPro's getting flat. I'm getting dirty. All right, let me just sort this out. So the exhaust does come apart. I've got it apart. It's quite easy once you realise how. There's a long, thin rod which goes through that end, screws into that end, well, goes into that end, and then the part of the exhaust mount that screws on. So I'm going to clean it all up. I'm going to drill that out. Just drill the end out. Clean this up. And we'll just stick it on out the way so it's not flying around. and I'll just quickly do a closing when I'm done. So yes, we're pretty much there as part of this full rebuild. So just let me just get on and finish what I'm doing, and I'll come back with a completed motor engine to get it, planning to get it back in the car, or a car, see if it works. And there we have it, it's all back together. I've had to put some dodgy cable ties on there because I don't have any of the right size, so I'll have to get them. But I did drill the end out, cleaned it all out. Basically, like I said, take this nut off at the end. There's a long bolt screw that goes all the way through. It's threaded and it puts it all together. I cleaned it all out, like I say, drilled that out and put it all back as it should. So that there is now a pretty much completed TRX 0.15. Done a few modifications to the header. The exhaust is drilled out. It just looks a bit cleaner in there, I suppose. It's not a simple fix to install on the car. It's a bit of a mission. It's going to start to come apart again, so still got to take it apart to put it on, but at least it's kind of all back together as it should be now. So I think next time you'll see this motor will be in the TRX, the Fortec, sorry, the Fortec, Traxxas Fortec Nitro. Now I've had the car out before, but we'll do a proper speed run with it, with the original engine that's in it that runs, I think, quite well. And then we'll put this one in, hopefully get it running, and see how we go from there. But yeah, that's the end of part 2 in part of the whole series 2.5. This is part 2 of 1. That doesn't make sense. This is part 2 of the rebuild. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. What do you think I've done? I mean, I haven't really done anything other than cleaned it, to be honest, and checked it. There's not much I've not done anything like super special to it, but it's certainly gone back together okay. The only thing that I'm not sure about is the pinch, quite important, and there's the insert. Did I have it the right way round? It is an easy fix. If it isn't, if you know, let me know. I wasn't planning on taking it out. It just sort of came out when I was fiddling around with it. But yeah, I'm going to sort of change a few of these cable ties and tidy up the wiring. Maybe put some heat shrink on the bits that are bare. And we'll go from there, as it rhymes. Anyway, GoPro's getting flat. I'm dirty again after I was clean. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. Please follow and hit the notifications bell for more videos. They will be coming soon. I'm really busy at the moment, so you'll have to bear with me. Lots and lots of stuff to come. Perhaps I'll do an overview video so you can see what's up and coming. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff. So enough of me. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.